Center for American Progress. He's also a professor at University of Massachusetts. And Jimmy Pethokoukis, a.k.a. Jimmy P., senior writer for U.S. News and World Report, author of the fabulous blog Capital Commerce. Jimmy P., start with you to get your information out. Overall, since 9/11, the American economy is up $1.65 trillion, which is the equivalent of, and this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, the equivalent of 5 Saudi Arabias, 8 Irans, 13 Pakistans, or 15 Egypts. Now, Christian Weller, there's a lesson there about the benefits of free market capitalism. Why won't these fascist totalitarians learn it?
Well, the question, I can't really answer what some crazy people in the caves of Waziristan are really thinking, but I think in our eagerness to show the resilience of the American economy, and they are clearly resilient, the American economy and American workers. I think we got to be clear that the economy hasn't been that strong in the last few years. Employment growth has been the weakest since the Great Depression. Wage growth has been flat. Health insurance has been cut down. Pensions have been cut down. Investment growth is the lowest of any business cycle since the 1960s.
Right.
So
we got to go short. All right, you got your first round. Jimmy P., please respond.
All right. You know, for a second, I thought I was hearing like that Bin Laden tape from a few days ago where he's like bad-mouthing the economy. So there's one big difference. He's for lower taxes and Christian's for higher taxes.
Well, let's hold on.
That'd be the big difference.
Let's keep this civil, please.
Now, wait a second. Osama said, by the way, this was the goofiest thing in a goofy tape. He said something like, well, if you'd come over to our side, you won't pay any taxes. Of course, you won't have an economy either. But that's the odd thing.
Well,
now, Jimmy P., what
that's for you, Larry.
Why all these guys? This is to some extent the Clinton narrative, and that's why we wanted Christian to come on the program. But they say this is a terrible expansion, absolutely terrible. The fact that even with the correction, the Dow is above 13,000. What do you make of this, Jimmy?
You know what? We've had 23 straight months of economic expansion. We're in the 4th longest expansion since World War II. And these guys like Christian, they want to talk all about the Clinton expansion, but they don't want to talk about the years 2000 to 2002, where the economy wasn't good. If Clinton's going to get credit for the 90s, he has to take blame for the early part of this decade. You know, the Bush policies didn't kick in until 2002.
Clinton created the recession. I think you can't blame that on Clinton, the recession. The question is, President Bush was president in office. President Bush was in office in 2001, 2002. The question is, how did he handle the recession? And clearly, I think I would argue he mishandled the recession.
But let me just bring this back. Okay, I appreciate political debate, but this is the 6th anniversary of 9/11. Paul Krugman, Christian, he's your pal, right? Paul Krugman. He says real hourly earnings of non-supervisory workers have not increased since the tax cuts of 2003. And yet, Jimmy P., I went back and looked at this. Real disposable income is up 7.7. No, yes, it's up $1 trillion, or 3% at an annual rate. Hourly earnings are up 3.2% at an annual rate. Total compensation is up 3.4%, and hourly compensation 4.2%. Those are all annualized since mid-2003. Jimmy, why do there's so much? The left has so much falsehoods on this number.
Well, you know, because if you talk about the economy and how good it is, you have to give some credit to the tax cuts. You know, there was just a study just out from Berkeley that found tax cuts are good for the economy. You know what? In the past,
this was Romer. This was the Romer study. It's an unbelievable study.
It really is incredible. You know, so wages have gone up. And remember but
it's a question of distribution.
Right. Average 2% in the past year.
Christian, we got to get out of here. We're up against hard budget.
But it is really a question of distribution for the typical worker.
Yes or no? Optimistic. Yes or no?
I can be optimistic. I think things will ultimately get better.
Christian Weller, Jimmy P. Thanks.
Believe in America.
Up next, my last word.